To continue with Mrinal Sen's filmmaking, as I was saying that he was experimenting with handheld cameras, giving rise to images which were disturbed, which were shaking, and sort of they were representing the disturbance in human mind, in the minds of the youth. Also, in interview, he shows the young generation who are unemployed, the educated, unemployed uh, section of our country. They keep on giving interviews, but they fail to get a job and they become frustrated. They revolt, they protest against the social system. And Mrinal Sen was using special effects. You must remember that he was operating at a very low budget, and we did not have this technological expertise like we have today. But in spite of that, he came up with extremely intriguing special effects to portray the anger, the frustration of the young generation. In Podatik, it's also a remarkable film, a political film. He shows the tussle between a father and a son. The father is a conventional communist, leftist, and the son is a Naxal, an extremist. So there is a clash of ideology between the father and the son. And the story explores that who is right, whose ideology is correct. And he doesn't become very judgmental. At the end of all the conflict and tussle, when the father is convinced that his son is basically pro people, he's working, he's risking his life for the interest of the common people, the father stands beside his son and he tells him, be brave. So it's like singing the victory of mankind, of the poor people. So Mrinal Sen has been a thorough humanist in his political films. Now I would like to show you a clipping from one of the films of Mrinal Sen, which shows Calcutta 71, the opening montage of Calcutta 71, which shows the agitated city of Kolkata. So here is the clipping. Uh, And another clipping I would like to show you from the film which I mentioned just now, that is Podatik. You must notice the use of background music in these two clippings which I showed. Uh, Mrinal Sen, apart from his political films, will also be remembered for his adaptation of literature. Especially, he had a very fond relationship with Oriya literature. He adapted Bhagavati Charan Panigrahi's famous story, Shikar, and he converted into a wonderful film which was known as Mrigaya. Mrigaya is the film which introduced Mithun Chakravarti. Yes, Mithun Chakravarti's first film was Mrigaya. And in this film, Sen took up the issue, the problems, the plight of the tribal community. India is a country where the tribal population is a major population, but their problems have never been treated sympathetically by the administrators in independent India or in British India, and the tribals have always been exploited. Sen, as a humanist, took up this issue. There are very few films on tribal issues, therefore, Mrigaya stands out. And later on, he also made a film out of Matiro Monisa. Again, another Oriya classic. And I would like to say that you must see these two films to understand uh, that his adaptation is quite different from Satyajit Ray's adaptation. In the storytelling pattern, in the treatment of the film, in using the camera, Sen and Ray are quite different from each other. Sen's focus has always been on the problems of common people. Now, after discussing Ray and Mrinal Sen, I have discussed very briefly. I mean, it takes hours to discuss these film directors. These are great film directors of our country. I would like to move on to the third film director, also from Bengal, because these are the three directors who changed the filmmaking style of our country, and they inspired a generation of filmmakers after that. And the third in line is Ritik Kumar Ghatak. Ritik Ghatak basically started his career as a theatre artist during the 40s in Kolkata, and from the very beginning he was associated with the Indian People's Theatre Association (IPTA) and the Democratic Writers Association, and he was a very progressive man, and he used to write plays, and he once famously said that I am always looking out for the modern medium of communication. The cinema is more convenient to me than theatre. The day I get something better than cinema, I leave cinema. I am always in search of a good medium to communicate my feelings. So, Ray Ghatak's first film was Nagorik, which was supposed to release in the same year as Pathir Pachali, but it got delayed. Many critics say that had Nagorik released, so Pathir Pachali's status as the pioneer of the new style of filmmaking in India, so that position would have gone to Nagorik. Anyway, the highlight of Ritik Ghatak's films is Partition of Bengal and India. Ghatak himself had come from the East Bengal. He had his roots in the eastern side of Bengal, and he was deeply bruised and saddened by the partition. He left his people and place on the other side, and he came to Kolkata. Many people like him, they migrated to West Bengal, but they could never forget uh, their original native place. And when they came to West Bengal, they were landless, jobless. Many of them were very, very well off in East Bengal, But when they came to West Bengal to be a part of India, they were absolutely penniless. And they had to undergo a lot of humiliation, pain, and difficulties to start life fresh in a new place. So the pain, the bruise of the partition is something which did not affect the entire country. It affected only states like Punjab, Bengal, and only those people who have experienced partition, they know the pain of partition. So Ghatak made a series of films. In almost all his films, the issue of partition was addressed. There were characters who were the victims of partition. In the very first film, Nagorik, he went at length to show the problems of a family, of a boy, a young boy, who is struggling to get a foothold in the city of Kolkata. And he laments that he had to come due to the partition. In another film, Komol Gandhar, which was based on the Indian People's Theatre Association, where Ghatak showed a theatre group. He himself was part of theatre and IPTA. So Ghatak showed a theatre group who were going to places to have their shows staged. And the members of that theatre group, the ideological conflicts, the members all, most of them, they had come from East Bengal. They were searching for an identity, and theatre provided them the identity. And again, there also the protagonist, he stands on the bank of river, and he looks to the other side of the river and says that, see, that is my country there on that side of the river, which I have lost. In Subarnarekha also, Ghatak addresses this issue of partition. In his most popular film, uh, Ghatak's films were not very popular. They did not get a lot of audience support. They were not hits in commercial terms. After Ghatak's death, his films became legendary, but not during his lifetime. But one film was a hit, that is Meghe Dhaka Tara. And in Meghe Dhaka Tara also, Ghatak tells us the story of a family which is a victim of partition. A school teacher, a retired school teacher, and his son and two daughters, and the elder daughter, Nita, who shoulders all the financial responsibilities of her family, and unfortunately loses her lover to her own very sister. Nita becomes afflicted with tuberculosis, but she wants to live her life. She doesn't want to die, she wants to live. It was a wonderful film where musical treatment was taken to a superb height by Ritik Ghatak. And Ghatak was a master at using semiotics, symbols in his films. I'll discuss those things when I teach film appreciation and film criticism. I would request all of you to kindly see his films Nagorik, Meghe Dhaka Tara, Komol Gandhar, Subarnarekha. His last film, Jukti Tokko Goppo, is also very important because he did an experiment here. He did not follow the conventional style of storytelling. He did not go for any plot. He broke the linear narrative and he went for a non linear storytelling. He assembled a few thoughts, a few scenes, and tried to present a very different kind of a film to the audience. So, Bimal Roy, Satyajit Ray, V. Shantaram, Mrinal Sen, Ritik Ghatak. This was the these are the five directors whom I have discussed in these two lectures, and I would request all of you to kindly see their films so that whatever I said today, I have said very less. I have given only the basic idea. So you should see the films and form an idea of yourself. Thank you very much. Until we meet again.